What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr War Games, and today is the long-awaited return of Synchrons. That's right, they got a brand new Synchro monster in the form of the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, and they got a brand new spell in the form of On Your Mark, Get Set, Duel. Both of these cards are incredibly powerful and incredibly important for this deck, and I'm actually going to show you a 1.5 card or ideally 2 card combo at the end of the video as well that will show you how you can protect with Baron and not even use your normal summon. That's how insane this deck is. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. If you get this video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, not only will I bring you a test stand video with the deck, but I will also bring you another version of the deck that involves the floor Synchrons and the floor at level 8, which is insane. So, with all of that out of the way, let's dive head first. So you start off with triple junk Synchron, pretty straightforward and simple on this one, alongside triple Stardust Synchron. So I'm going to go through all of the tuners first. One Jet Synchron, and before everyone loses their mind, oh my god, why are you only playing one Jet? Space, basically. And the reason I've gone with this is I wanted to get the balance of tuners and non-tuners, because the Axel Synchron can only revive a tuner from the graveyard, and it needs to be a level 2 or lower. So Jet Synchron is of course one of those options, but some of the options you want to be focusing on more so, or ideally, is the Necro Synchron, which I'll talk about in a minute. So we've got the one Cyber Synchron, we've got the one Necro Synchron, and then we've got the one Spore. Now, this is where the spice comes into play. So part of the 2 card combo involves you searching out the Necro Synchron, and then discarding the Necron Synchron to get into your Axel. And then what you do is you get the ability, Axel brings back Necron. You then use this to sync with this, going into a level 10 Baron, which is a wind. And then because you've used this as material, it will allow you to special summon Spore from the deck. And the best thing about Spore, or what gives it the best about it, is as long as you get it into the graveyard, you get to banish another plant monster to then adapt to levels. But at the end of the day, it's just basically giving you a free level 1 tune on the board. To make this more consistent, you do need to play the Fleur Synchron. You need to play more plants to get its graveyard effect, to let it recycle and loop around. But yeah, that's just something for you to look into. Then for the non-tuners, we've got triple Jump Converter, triple Doppel Warrior, standard on those ones, triple Claw Crow. The reason I've kind of bumped these up, and I've also got 2 Jester Confits. The reason I've got these is because, keeping in mind that Axel can only bring back the level 2s, which is Jet, Cyberse, Necro, and Spore. With everything else here, these are the most important cards, because if you only open up tuners, you can't play. If you only open up non-tuners, you can't play. You only play Synchros. You need to get the mixture of 2 of them. And being able to play cards like Jester and Caligro to special themselves for free is really, really important. Not to mention that if you do revive the Necro Synchro off of the back of the Axel, you could actually special summon down the Doppel Warrior. Now, it would be a little bit risky, because behind that, you would have gone 2 monsters on the board to get into your Axel. Axel would be your 3rd, and then your 4th would be the Necro. So if you did summon down Doppel Warrior at that point, you'd put yourself in Nibiru territory. And the idea behind this is to not go into Nibiru territory. So again, it'll make more sense with the combo at the end. You'll also see why you want the free extenders, because at the end of the day, if you're able to special summon out Spore, with it all being protected by a Baron de Fleur, you can then special summon down Confit. This gives you a Synchro level 2, which will allow you to go into your double Shaman, which lets you bring back up to 4 level 2s from the graveyard. Now, annoyingly, it's non-tuners, so... And then the other option with the Calicro is it gives you an option to go into your Metal Marcher. So you're getting options to get different abusive levels if you need to. You don't need to play Spore. The other option, like I said, is you play the original Fleur Synchron. And then by doing so, it lets you special summon a level 2 from the hand. In doing that, you can cut the Spore completely. I just thought this was like a nice little additional bonus. Like, you don't have to play it, but when you use the Necro, you're always going to be going into a wind, so you're always going to get that benefit of being able to special the Spore. I looked at all the other plant monsters that were level 1s, and I was like, you know what, Spore actually gives you the most advantage. And like I said, if you're going to be playing more plants, which at the moment in the main deck you're not, you can then get an additional layer off of the back of the Spore. The issue is you just need to get that plant to the graveyard, and in my opinion, probably the best way to do something like that on a consistent basis would be to play the Garden Maiden, but again, it comes down to personal preference. And then last of the non-tuners, we've got 2 Synchron Carrier. This could probably be 3 if you want to. It's up to you. The 1 Trail, and then this card is nuts. I love this card so much. Well, apart from this card, I hate this card. This card's like you always see in your hand. Sucks. But this card, amazing. Absolutely amazing. So you discard one card. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to discard the Necro Synchron that I've searched. And then you get Special on this, Special on the Ant, Sync into the Axel, which is a nice level 8. And then you get to use Axel to bring back the Necro. And then off the back of that, if you want to, you can go into Baron. Otherwise, you can tag this out. And this will bring out Stardust. And then instantly you'll be able to Synchro using the Stardust just to make sure that Baron is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. So annoyingly, it's for the rest of that turn, so you kind of want to do that during your opponent's turn. But during your opponent's turn, you're going to Axel and you're going to be going into Satellite Warrior. So just ways of doing it. You could even go to a Baron during your opponent's turn, but that's up to you. And the last two monsters we're playing is Double Nibiru. This is just a card to go second with. Like, you can play Drop Blitz, you can main deck Dark Rulers if you want to, Eclipses if you want to. They can be Ash Blossoms. That's the one thing I kind of struggled with, was getting the space to kind of make sure that I wasn't one of them ones where it's like, right, okay, cool, I'm playing no hand traps, so if I don't win the dice roll, I'm going to struggle. If my board gets broken, it's game over. What could I play around with? And Nibiru was probably like the best one. The best thing about Nibiru is because a lot of people are actually maining it, a lot of players are playing around it or playing under it. So like, for example, Cashteras, they play under it. They just go into a Rise Art, which can be annoying because all your stuff gets banished. But then again, it really depends on if you want to be playing imperms, drop players, everything else. So there's other cards you need to consider depending on your local environment and your personal play style. For the spells, we've got triple tuning, and then we've got triple on your mark, get set, dueled. Now, for those of you that don't know what this card does, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, it's really good, but also really annoying at the same time. So when this card is activated, if you control no other cards, you get to add a Synchron monster from your deck to the hand. So you get to add a Synchron monster from the deck to the hand just to kind of visualize it for you of everything you can search and add with this is mental. So you get to search out Carrier. So if you've already got a Junk Synchron on hand, you get an additional normal summon for free. You can also search yourself out the Necro Synchron, which is what we're going to be going for in the combo, and I'll show you that at the end. You can also go for the Cyber Synchron, which is another one that can be discarded off of the Dawnwalker, because you can bring this back and then adapt its level. So that's really nice. And on top of that as well, this also gives an additional effect that if you put the Baron in the extra monster zone, it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. You get to banish this card from the graveyard instead, which is really nice. So you've got that, and then of course you've got your Jet, you've got your Stardust, and of course you've got the Junk. So you've got so many targets on this. It's one of the reasons that I've actually cut playing. I've cut playing the Synchro Overtake, sorry. And the reason I've cut this, and I need to find a way of trying to put it back into the deck, but it was more so because I still wanted to play the Stardust. I still wanted to play Stardust Dragon in this deck off of the back of the Axel Dragon. But the reason that you would take out the Stardust or another card in the extra deck, you'll see, and you could be able to make your own mind up on that. But then you, of course, you would put in the Junk Synchron, the Junk Warrior, and then, of course, Overtake, your main target is going into the Junk Synchron, and you've got more consistent ways of doing it. Another way, if you still wanted to go for the 2-card combo, is you go for Fleur Synchron, and you get to play the Fleur Cavalry, because it lists Fleur Synchron. So you activate this, you get to add that card to your hand, and then you activate Dawnwalker, discard it, go into... it just basically gives you 6 ways of getting that card for the 2-card combo, rather than just 3. So, but I have cut that for now. It's just space-wise that I'm trying to work around with. This is just like my first draft for this deck since getting the new Axel. I'm trying to maintain the core of what it still is. 1 Illumination, 1 Royal, 1 Call by, 1 Foolish. So Foolish is actually really good because if you don't open up the other part of the 2-card combo, this can count as it as well. So you've got 4 ways of getting to that half of the combo. You just then need another discard fodder in order to complete it. You can also put a level 2 in the graveyard for the Junk Synchron, so stuff like your Doppel Warrior. And then, of course, you've got the Call by Rotor to search out your Doppel Warrior, but can also search out your Junk. And Call by because sometimes Ash sucks. So you do need... I just think it's one of them cards you kind of have to play it, really. Moving on to the extra deck, we'll go strongest to weakest or highest level to lowest level. So Psychic End Punisher, I know this is expensive right now, but if you play in Synchrons at any point, you definitely have this card. It's just a Mac Daddy. And the fact is, you can do it during your opponent's turn using the Axel Synchron. You just need a level 3 tuner or the accumulation to get to a level 3. Satellite Warrior, this is actually more important now because of the Axel Synchron, because Axel can make this during your opponent's turn. So not only will it make this card unaffected, but then you'll definitely have 2 Synchros in the graveyard because you'll have this, plus you'll have Stardust. So you're going to guarantee to get at least 2 pops off of that. And then if you've got anything more, you're just going to pop more, gain more, do everything you need. 1 Baron de Fleur. I apologise for the different sleeves. I'm just bouncing these all around different decks at the moment. The one, Sovereign, it's just like a boss monster. It's just a Mac Daddy boss monster. So again, this is one you can kind of cut. You've got the Defender, the towers, or mini towers, and then you've got the aggressors. So, entirely up to you. For the level 8s, Omega, because Omega can help you recycle your Stardust graveyard. So you just put that back into the deck. Put that back into the graveyard. Not to mention, if you make Omega, so like not only if you have Baron can you deal with a Nibiru, but then you make an Omega later on in the turn, you can banish this, rip another one from your opponent's hand, and you're basically just taking away their advantage. And then of course we've got the one Axel Synchron. This card's nuts. So if this card is Synchro summoned specifically, you get to special summon a level 2 or lower tune-up from your graveyard. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card to special summon one Stardust Dragon from your extra deck. It is treated as a Synchro summon. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you get to Synchro summon using monsters you control as material. For the rest of this turn, the monster Synchro summoned by this effect is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. You can only use each effect once per turn. So the idea is, in theory, what you could do is you could tag out Axel, go into Stardust. Stardust would technically be special summon, so it does have the ability to banish itself and protect from being destroyed, or cards from being destroyed, if you keep them on the board. At the very least, you can go straight into the Baron or a level 10 or your Satellite Warrior. One thing I would like to do is it'd be really cool to play Hop Ear Squadron. So you'd activate Hop Ear Squadron, you can then sync during your opponent's turn. It's definitely a card I want to look into. The issue is with Hop Ear, to make the Axel, you have to leave a Charge Warrior on the board, and I don't quite like that idea at the moment. So Charge Warrior is like the only lower level that you kind of want to be getting on the board. I do consider Coral Dragon sometimes, because there are times when I'm like, you know what, I've got the tuner, I've got the non-tuner, I'm missing the tuner, but it's probably more occurrence that you're going to be the other way around. Hybrid Librarian, draw for days! Speeder, Axel, Herald, Cupid Pitch, Metal Marcher, and Celestial. Now the Cupid Pitch is a bit more consistent if you do play the... if you do choose to play Hop Ear Squadron, because then it's a card you just search and it lets you sync during your opponent's turn, which I really like, but you can't be able to do that over Axel at the moment anyway. So again, you've got a few flex spots. Like if you go, right, I've got too many boss monsters, I don't want to play these many, I can cut this one or cut this one. You don't want to play the Stardust because you don't want to play that route, or you don't want to play a Mega. You've got other options for you. Like there's so many different ways you can play this. So obviously the first one is you've got Junk Warrior, you've got Yazi, you've got Crystal Wing, you've got the Garden Maiden. You've got so many different options. It's entirely up to you on how you want to change this. Like I said, I'm drafting this. I'm still playing around with it. I just thought I'd give you a concept first because I didn't really see any profiles like this online. So I was like, you know what? I'll put one of these together. You guys now know what Axel can do for the deck. And you've got like a baseline to show it. Cool. So that is it for the profile. I'm now going to show you the 2-card combo. Okay, so the 2-card combo, in order to give you protection from the Biru and everything you need, is it can either be Foolish Burial, or the more consistent option you're going to have is On Your Mark, Get Set, Duel. And then if you were playing a different version of this deck with the Fleur Synchro, the level 8 Synchro, then you could also include Overtake as your other card is here. So you'd have 3 options for this. Now the other side of it is a little bit more difficult because it is specific. You have to have your Acasta in the hand. You don't need a discard for the Acasta because you're going to get it off of this anyway. So, the idea behind this is you're either, if you've got the Foolish Burial, you need another discard, but we're going to go On Your Mark, Get Set, Go, which is really nice. So, duel. So, you're going to activate this. When this is activated, if you control no other cards, which at this moment in time you would not, you get to add a Synchron from the deck to the hand. So, you're going to add the Necro Synchro directly from your deck to the hand. You're then going to use Dawnwalker's effect to discard the Necro. You're going to special summon itself out, and of course you're going to get Ant from the deck. Now, yes, this is massive Ash bait, but at least if you eat the Ash up now, you've got more plays to do a little bit later on. Keep in mind as well, Set Duel does have a secondary effect. So once per turn during your standby phase, really annoying, why couldn't it be during every standby phase? You place a signal counter on this card, and you can remove 2 signal counters from your field, and then send this face-up card to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 On Your Mark per turn. So, I mean, it's a little bit annoying, because it's like, yo, why couldn't this be every time I Synchro summon, like just give me a spell that is... what's that, 6 Sam United? Like, give me a spell that's like 6 Sam United, for synchros. Like every time I synchro summon, or every time I summon a synchron, or every time I synchro using a synchron, I get to do something. Like that'd be cool. Anyway, you're going to sync those into an 8. You're going to go into your Axel. Axel's effect will then resolve, bringing back the Necro. Now, this is technically your first, second, third, and fourth summon, which means your next summon puts you in Nibiru territory. So how do you deal with that? Well, very, very simply, you just go, cool, sync these. You could tag out into a Stardust if you want to, but no real need to do that. Again, you're just dicing with the Nib play. You go into your Baron de Fleur. And then, because Necro Synchro was utilised using going into a wind monster, you get to special summon a level 1 plant from the deck. So that's where Spore just kind of comes to give you a little bit extra. Like I said, if you wanted to do it the other way around and you want to play the Fleur Synchro, you can make it more consistent to get to it. And it will also mean you can special summon out level 2s from your hand. So that gives you more access to your Junk Converter. You can already special summon out a Calicro, but, you know, give you another one. It can also give you access to your Carrier. The issue is it doesn't put a tuner on the board. So you give and take. You get more consistency, but you don't get the tuner on the board. It really is up to you. But keep in mind, we haven't even conducted our normal summon. I suppose getting like the non-tuner on the board is really good. I mean, you'll only get the tuner if you special summon through the hand of the Fleur. But yeah, like you haven't even normal summoned, so you could still go, okay, normal summon Junk, bring back Necro. The only issue is, again, you've just got so many tuners, you need the non-tuners, which is why you need the extenders in the form of the Calicro. Ideally Calicro, because that's your level 5 there, or anything else. So. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. I will continue to be working on this because I absolutely love synchros, and I kind of just drifted away from it for a while because I was like, okay, tier was really not the format for the deck. This isn't the best format for it because everyone's running bloody Nibiru, but we are trying to play ways of being able to deal with it, which is why I still rate this card. Like, if I don't see a synchro deck with this card in it, I'm like, the first comment I make is like, yo, you should look at this card, and I highly advise it. It's just really, really good, does so much work for the deck, and I really rate it. Yes, you play the one Garnet of the Ant, but I still rate the Dawn Walker so much. Anyway, that is it for the profile. I hope this is giving you a couple of ideas or a structure for your own build. I really, really like the idea that it's got a bit more Stardust focus, which is really nice. And I can't wait to see, you know, how else you can adapt this. I definitely cannot wait for the... Well, Joe probably can't wait more than me. Waits more than me. I can't wait for the... to get more from the Red Resonator, like, structure deck reveals. Like, that'd be so cool. I can't wait to see what they're going to produce. I really hope we get some generic Synchro cards, but even then I wouldn't be surprised if we get Synchro cards that is just Red Dragon Arch themed and Resonator themed. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe, share. Like I said at the start of the video, if you want to see more from this profile, more versions, more test stands, everything more, then make sure you smash that like button. Getting the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours will unlock that for you. But as absolutely always, guys, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.